Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is Pool Chapter 9, and it's titled Straight to It. Well, yes, of course, you spluttered, having an internal panic attack at not feeling prepared enough to be working right now. I only mentally prepared for the interview. I wasn't expecting this. Your highly sleep-deprived brain screamed. Onwards! Principal Nezu called enthusiastically, one tiny paw held up in the air from where he was still comfortably snuggled into Aizawa's scarf. Are you coming as well? Aizawa asked him. No, I should probably stay here and do more work, he replied sheepishly. Fair enough, Aizawa said in a bored tone, as he waited for the small mouse-like principal to climb out and jump down. After Principal Nezu had dismounted Aizawa, he strolled towards the door, glancing back to see if he would follow. You were right behind him and he smirked to himself. She's keen, even though I've put her on the spot, he thought as he walked out of the office and down the hallway towards the classroom. He pushed the door open and entered, his presence commanding the room instantly, and all the students that were inside quietened down immediately. From today we'll be joined by my new assistant, Miss Lin, Aizawa addressed the class. She'll be helping you all hone your quirks. Small whispers and noises of approval rippled through the onlooking students, and pleasant smiles graced a number of faces. You smiled politely in return and placed your hands together in front of yourself, adopting a typical new student or new teacher stance and bowing slightly. Thank you for having me. Let's look forward to a good year together, you said in your most pleasant voice, earning some more whispers of approval and a smattering of claps. Miss Lin will be observing today as we do quirk demonstrations. She will then determine each of your quirks and give you advice on how best to develop them, Aizawa said professionally. If you need me, I'll be in my sleeping bag, but under no circumstances are you to wake me. Confused noises permeated the awkward silence following his statement, and your pleasant expression deadpanned. He just wants to palm off all the work onto me, you thought, trying not to show your annoyance with a scowl. Okay, everyone, let's go, Aizawa commanded in an even tone, waiting until everyone stood up and then led them out the door. You waited patiently until all had left, then you brought up the rear. Hey, teach, Kaminari whispered back to you as he walked ahead. You got in! I knew you would! You smiled at him, not wanting to get too friendly with the flirtatious one. Miss Lin, do you have a quirk? A curly-haired greenette asked, his cute freckled face beaming at you as he craned his head back. Silence, Aizawa called from the front of the line. Miss Lin is here to teach, not have a casual conversation. The green-haired boy and Kaminari both shrunk down with embarrassment and kept quiet as they continued out to the training grounds. Boy, he's got this class on a tight leash. I don't know why Principal Nezu said he needed help, you thought. The class filed out onto the training ground and immediately got into two lines, listening to Aizawa's instructions. One by one you'll showcase your quirk in its entirety, Aizawa said with a completely neutral expression, his heavy-lidded eyes hanging half-closed. Miss Lin will observe, and after everyone has had their turn, she'll give pointers on each. Whoa. Talk about throwing me in the deep end, you thought, with a slight panic as you gave the class a confident yet dead smile to cover the otherwise mortified look on your face. Bakugo Katsuki, you're up, Aizawa called sharply, and everyone ran for cover immediately, leaving a blonde-haired, very angry-looking boy with intense red eyes standing in the middle of the grounds, hands shoved into his sagging pants. Pleased to meet you, Bakugo, you said politely with a bow. His already permanent scowl deepened, and he just exhaled sharply through his nose before pulling one hand out of his pocket. Please show me your quirk, you asked pleasantly. Bakugo turned and held his hand out, detonating a very loud explosion which threw him backwards. At first you thought it had been an error, but you watched as he quite skillfully flipped mid-air and landed on his feet. My quirk is explosion, strongest quirk in this class, he said with a scowling smirk. If your quirk isn't better than mine, then I don't think you have much to teach me, he added hauntingly. Okay, rude much? You thought as you kept your expression neutral. Without warning, you shot your hands out towards him and wrapped them around his wrists, pinning his arms to his side. He reacted to your attack as quickly as possible, but you were just that split second quicker and managed to detain him as he shot an explosion from his palms, ultimately propelling himself up and forwards and over onto his head. From the momentum of his quirk, he almost buried himself into the ground, and you retracted your arms and placed them on your hips. How would you otherwise react in that situation, if you had more time to analyse it? You asked him as he pulled himself up to standing. Try me again, he growled. I'll kill you. Suddenly Aizawa's scarf shot out and detained the irate student, making him even angrier that he was being trapped yet again. That's enough, Bakugo, Aizawa said in a dull voice. Think about Miss Lin's words. Bakugo's scowl deepened, but he didn't try and attack you as Aizawa removed the restraints, instead opting to just turn sharply and storm back to the other students. Midoriya, you're up next, Aizawa called. The small brunette walked forward, somewhat nervously. I'm still working on a few things, the young boy mumbled to you, but I'll show you what I have so far. Go ahead, he said with a nod. You watched as Midoriya jumped into the air and spun, kicking his leg out and creating a type of green lightning as he flicked around midair, the force from his kick causing an immense strong wind to blow across the field, making you take a step back to steady yourself. He did a few more displays before stopping. What is your quirk? You asked him. Are you an element user or power type? Midoriya went quiet and fiddled with his fingers, averting his eyes as he tried to find the words to say. Oh, it doesn't matter, I guess, he said quickly, feeling that he was uncomfortable with the question. And that is the end of Chapter 9. Stay tuned for Chapter 10 coming tomorrow.